So, good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to see you on a Saturday afternoon. So, yes, today we have with us Ashok sir, who is an NLP trainer, and he has three children who is unschooling. So let's start the discussion without any ado. Okay, sir. Yes, sir. No, so we'll start off with at the very beginning. So that was like 11 years back when you had your first daughter. So how did this journey begin? Was it like, okay, now she's 2 and 3, I don't want to send her to school, or did it a lot of research go into it, or how did it start?
I'll just switch off the fan.
Yeah.
My voice is I can hear you. Yeah, I think when my daughter was born, I was in Delhi. Okay, and then in 6 months we moved to my hometown, which is Krishnagiri, which is where we are living now. I was very clear that many things are not going to be met in Delhi. Our needs. So we were interested in coming back and exploring how life is here in my hometown. So when she was young, we didn't think much, but except how to give her a good parenting. That is what we had in mind. We attempted water birthing for her, not water birthing, doula assisted birthing for her in Bangalore. Okay. So that experience, we learned that you can't rely on institutions blindly. Because we really negotiated with the hospital, alongside to make it a normal delivery. We had somebody from US. So my wife is also joining. Okay.
Yeah, sure. That would be great, sir.
So
good afternoon.
So yeah.
Hi. Hello.
Yeah. So that experience really taught us that you can't go by what the rules of the society are, but you have to really find a way your interests intact. So that's how we started. And I was a trainer, so I used to travel from one place to another for workshops. And after marriage, my wife was also traveling with me. And I think we traveled with the baby. And then she'll be sitting in the room while I'm at the beach resort. And we'll manage the child's needs in the resort when I was working. Living back and traveling was tough for them, to be without me. So that's how we started. So naturally, we wanted to be together, so we started traveling together. I think after 3 years, we didn't find any need to stop this school. Then obviously they can't travel with me, and that will kind of break our family dynamics. Right now, I was happy, she was happy, the baby was happy. So we really didn't find a need to break that flow of life. While our parents were waiting that, okay, once she joins school, our family will settle down. That's what they were expecting. But we didn't, we just kept going. And maybe one milestone which I remember very nicely was we went to Jodhpur, and we were there for 1 month, because when they travel along with me, I used to stay a lot more than what I used to go for work, because I have to really look for places that is where they can also enjoy. So I was looking for child-friendly places to do my training workshops. So when we stayed like that for a month in Jodhpur with the family, there were about 8 or 10 kids in Jodhpur who are of different age groups. And my daughter, she was 4 or 5, and she can't speak Hindi. And what month when we were coming back, she was conversing in Hindi with all the children. Okay. And then it struck me that she's actually picked up 5 languages in 5 years. Because her mother's place was in Bangalore, so they used to go for summer, so she picked Kannada. And we lived in Kerala for some time, so she picked up Malayalam. And so we found that this flow of learning may be affected if we put her in the school. So I had read some book about homeschooling many years ago. So I was thinking that, okay, something that we could do, keeping them at home also. Then obviously, then we figured out that there are homeschooling communities, and then only we got to know the term that I am a homeschooler. Otherwise, we are a traveling family. You're muted.
So she enjoyed the first 4 years, and then were you pressurized after the 4 years to put her in school?
The pressure was always there. Right from marriage, I was not agreeing. So my parents were often so everybody was expecting that at some age my daughter will go to school. But by then we moved to Kerala for living, So we didn't let our parents so we didn't let our parents control our choices. So we were in that distance. So, but they were expecting, and sometimes they used to talk, but then we also said them that these are some things that we are trying out. And yeah, so it went like that. You have to unmute, Suma. Yes.
So did you continue your traveling journey even after she was like 4 years old, or you stopped it after that?
Yeah. So when she was 4, we got our second baby. So that during that time we were finding it a little difficult to have 2 babies in the travel, and it was becoming a little too much to handle. So what we used to do, like me and the kids, we would stay back, and we instead had like two people to help us. So the children will have somebody at home, and when Ashok is away, and or either my parents will come in, or we used to have that kind of a schedule going on. So that went on for another almost a year. After that, we lost our second baby. He had some health issues and we lost him. So by then my daughter was 5. So that was the time. Then again we were we were again back to 3 people in the family, and now we want to travel more, because to fill up the vacuum, and we were this is the time when heal ourselves basically, and that at that time we started traveling again. And Ashok used to run courses in places where in mostly rural places, and also mostly in homestays. So even if you're going and traveling outside, it is not like you're away from home, you're in somebody else's house. So we did that for how long was that?
I mean, the frequency was always there. It might go up, it might go down, but that's been our style. I think only in the last couple of years we have slightly reduced it, but otherwise we travel now also.
Okay, so what were you doing when you were not traveling? Like, what were you doing with her when you guys were not traveling at home?
Yeah, I mean, we were in Ernakulam. See, when the most difficult phase of the homeschooling is when you have a single child. Okay, so we had about 6 years.
Yeah, And first 4 years, and then 1 year, and then again another 3 years,
3 years.
until she was 8. That's
So-
when we had our third child.
So that was the most tough time. When we were in Ernakulam, obviously what we did was every day we had to travel out in the city. So either
Inside,
we,
like taking her to the park or taking her to a mall or going to a friend's place. Like it's like like how you go to office every day. We had to schedule today where are we going and what are we doing, and mostly we would like even if Ashok is not there, we had people to help us with the kitchen and everything. So like I used to every day like plan like at least evening 2 to 3 hours she'll be out of the house and doing something. And also we took up a house in a it was a small kind of apartment where there were 4 flats, and one of the flats there had 3 children. So even like if we didn't go out, we would go to their house or they'd come to our house. And so like she we were making sure that she constantly has some something to keep herself occupied.
So before that, we stayed in an apartment where there were no children. And we go to the park and come back by 7:38 or 8:30 to home. She will not climb up the stairs. She would cry. She would say, "I want to go back to the park." Because we don't even have television in the apartment. So there was constant struggle to reinvent the home to make it more attractive for her to be at home. So then we shifted to this place where we had a little garden and we had 3 or 4 families together. And a lot of her energy was consumed by those children and the other families who were outside, just outside the doorstep. And it was also safe for us because they're all uncles and aunts like that. So we had to constantly do this to keep her engaged. And there were times when some teachers came home to teach her music. So it's always been like one area of learning to another. So we have to find something to keep her interesting when her boredom picks up. So there may be times when we can't do much also, but constantly we have to get back to something. So there was a time when we had a school next to our house, and she said she wanted to go.
That was when we had our second child also. So she was like, she wanted to do something, and then she knows mom is busy, and
so we put her in the government school, and I was very annoyed, or I was very disturbed that she wanted to go to school. So I told her that that it could be tough and stuff like that. And she made up her mind. She said, no, I want to go. Then I thought, okay, it's her wish. So, am I trying to put my thoughts into her? So I let her go. She went to the school and she came back. And then she told me, "Father, you told me that not to go to school, but I still wanted to go to school. You know why?" I asked her, "Why?" "Because I have no friends at home. And I can get a lot of friends." I said, "Okay, you can go, like that." So she used to go to school, come back, and she used to give me a notebook, and then she used to ask me to write alphabets. P, Q, R, S, T. I have to write P, 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 Q, 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 R, R, because that's what they do in school. So she used to come back and do that back to us. And I think she went for 3 months or 4 months. They had an annual day coming up. So they were doing some practice. By then she was bored. She didn't want to go, but she wanted to go to that only one for that practice. So we kept her going till that annual day performance came. Then after that performance, we stopped because she herself didn't want to go. So it's good for them to go and experience what it is, and then find their own reasons to not go, than we not letting them explore what it is.
Yeah, actually, that's an excellent point. Actually, we homeschoolers think, okay, homeschooling is superior, and we even want our child to follow the same thing. But until and unless the child goes there, experience why we have been put into this situation, they would not, I guess, willingly accept our decision or willingly accept. It is always nicer for them to willingly accept their own decision. That yes, doing this is much better than going to school.
Um, actually speaking, she went to school like that 3 times. Okay, I think all 3 times it was a great relief because she could get out of the home.
Yeah.
And she had little celebrations, going to school, and she was really wanting to go to school in certain points of our journey. But obviously, it's not going to be easy for her in school also. I think the last journey she was happy going to school for 1 year, and
she attended 4th standard, like when she was 9 years old.
That is when we moved from Bangalore to Krishnagiri, again to my hometown. And we didn't have the homeschooler community here. So she was sitting in the home till evening 6 o'clock, till all the children come home. And then she will go and play with them. So she was getting frustrated, okay. And then, so it was like every story is a story, I told her anyway, even though I didn't like the mini schools, I have to say that even though we say it is homeschooling, it was always revolving around schools and institutions around our home. When we were in Bangalore, we used to take her to play schools or alternate schools on an hourly basis. We will come. The only condition is they should allow the mother also. And then she has to play with the children, whatever their activities that they are doing, because they will think that, okay, we are going to get one admission. Okay. So they will allow 1 month free time for us to come like that. And then after 1 month, we will switch to another school, another place where we'll again get this 1 hour. And by then, this 1 month, we will get to know the problems of the school also. And my daughter also will get to know, whether she wants to go, doesn't want to go, all these things. So likewise, it's always been around the institutions that we engaged, because everywhere she, in one of the play schools she went, there was an excellent teacher who used to teach about space with a lot of models and stuff. So she loved going to that. So we engaged the institutions like that. We engaged with the homeschooling community. And constantly that's been the journey. So even though we are termed as non-schoolers, or it's not, we are not wanting to go to school. I think the truth is we have revolved around schools.
Yes, that actually makes some sense. So what did you do about her literacy skills? When she was around 4 or 5, usually that's when children start reading, writing, and things like that. So how did you take up this journey of her reading, writing things? Because every time when a homeschooler comes and their first question will be, okay, I will let my child do whatever I want, whatever they want, but how will they start learning to write? How will they start learning to read? So yeah, how was your journey?
Yeah, so for us with our daughter, she used to be always very interested in stories, and I would read, and we used to get a lot of books for her because we also didn't have TV, and so we had to fill in something. We used to, whenever we travel, wherever we travel, we carry a lot of books, and we buy also from them. So she used to love to hear those stories and then rehear them and rehear them. And I used to read it out for her, and then I used to start getting tired. It's like, I'm okay. It's like, this is how much I can do. And also in the meanwhile, when we stayed in that 4 flat place, one of the flats had a child, had a special needs child. So she could not converse. So she had a little chart made with some words on it. She would show the word and is, was, and everything. And her mom would understand what she's actually wanting to say. And our daughter, she got really fascinated by the chart. She's like, I want something like this. And then I made a little chart for her with just alphabets and numbers. We started showing, whenever she wants to say something, I'll show. And then she'll say, okay, this is letter A, B. And that's how her first kind of learning alphabets started. And eventually, when she wanted to rehear the stories, then I would just show her the words. See, this is starting with A. See, this is starting with this alphabet and all that. And after some time, I got really tired and I told her, no, you'll have to start reading by yourself. You can ask me for help, but then I'm not reading it for you. So that was when she was like, put her all her attention into it, and she's like, okay, now I have to start reading. And then that's how she picked
I remember when I
How
went
old
to,
was she when this happened? Like,
so this was between 5 to 7.
Okay.
So it was not like she learned in a month or two. It was a a long and slow process, and organic process. Like we never at times she would ask me to write down the alphabet. I want to write it 10 times and all that school style also she wanted to do. And but it happened over a slow pace.
once when we were traveling in Jaipur, she wanted to eat dosa. So she told me, can we eat dosa? And then I will say, I will stop by a restaurant where we can get dosa. And then she would say, there is a restaurant, we can stop here. I will say, there is no dosa available. She will say, how do you know there is no dosa available? I will say, if it is available, they would have written it outside. She said, what will they write? I will say, they would write DOSA. She'll say, tell me what is DOSA. So this is what they will write. So she will be looking, DOSA. So she learned to read dosa, and then she will say, Pa, it's written, it's stopped here. So she picked up a number of things like this only, and alongside, mothers, reading the stories and all that. So I think when we came to Bangalore, she had a friend who was speaking very good English. She was going to school, but she used to come to play with her. And my daughter used to go to her home to play. I think in less than 3 months, 4 months, she was speaking very good English. And now when we come to our rural place, she speaks much better English compared to all the other people here. But we never really taught her like that. I think through her friends only she picked up.
okay, so you are saying when there was a need for her to learn to read, or when there was a need for her to actually find certain words or something, that's how she automatically kind of started learning, started showing interest into reading. So, and what about writing? Was she interested in writing? Did you guys force her to write?
So writing again, because she had gone to school for small intervals and 3-4 times. So there was little exposure to writing there. They make you write there. But she could not obviously pick up the speed that they were with. But naturally, she had an inclination for reading and writing. So she would come back home and she would become the teacher and she would write on the blackboard and like all of us do. And that was the beginning of her thing. And then when we came to our hometown and she joined this 4th standard, she had to write full time because how in a regular school it is. And that was the time she had to really work hard and pick up her speed and write pages and pages of homeworks and notes and everything. And that year she picked up speed with writing. But before that, I said, with the charts and everything, it used to be more like drawings and she will just write one alphabet, or she'll write whatever she feels like, she'll just start writing. So that's how she started.
So you're saying when she was around 10 years old, that's when she was in, I guess around 10 years, she was in 4th standard. So that's when she actually kind of started writing sentences together, long pages, or at least a couple of sentences. So till then, she had never practiced writing for a longer time.
No, she learned to write. She learned to read. Because what happens with children is when she goes and sees other children, when they do writing, she wants to learn that. So she will come back and she will take a notebook. She will ask me to buy and she will start to write something. We never enforced, we didn't think like what usually parents will think, my daughter doesn't know to learn. My daughter doesn't know to write. We didn't have those thoughts only. We were amused with what she was learning. She used to make pani puris, so likewise, we were doing a number of things. Every 1 year, 2 years, there was something new that was happening in the home. Okay. So constantly we had to prevent some things from some influences from her also. So we had to fight for engaging her on the alternate side. Okay. So for example, when we were in Jayanagar, every day we used to go for a walk and she will want to buy chocolates or dolls. And she'll be waiting to go out in the evening because she knows that she can go and nag me and buy something. And I will be thinking how best to not buy during that evening walk. And I will say, can we go this way or that way? She will already map it out. The chocolate shop is there. We'll have to go this way. So she will say this way. And this was getting too much, because her only daily activity for her enthusiasm that she will feel about is going and buying something. I thought that was not gelling well. I thought it was not right. So one day they all walked out, went somewhere and were coming back. It was raining. And they called me up and said, there is a puppy in the road. Can we pick it and come home? The mother has dumped her or left her and it is just in the thing, can we? And my wife was also like, can we? And I didn't know what to do because I don't want to be the villain, to leave the puppy back in the rain. So I said, okay, please bring it home. And when the puppy arrived, her whole world changed. She forgot about shopping. She was all the time after the puppy and playing with them. Then I thought this is very good. This is a very good coping mechanism for being in the city and being with the shopping area. So I told my wife, we'll get 2 more puppies. And then she scouted around and we got 3 puppies in the home. It finally turned to 3 more cats. So the entire house, in the colony, they will refer to our house as zoo. Okay. And every day morning, taking it for walking and, learning to neuter it, doing all sorts of things, she was involved. Once she was talking to her friend. Okay. I think she was about 6-7 years old. Okay. And the friend said, you have to give a pill for the dogs for it to not produce children.
Yes, my mom, I'll not have a sibling because my mom has taken injection.
Something like you have to take an injection so that the dog will not have puppies. So my daughter corrects her and says, no, it has to be an operation. So because she has gone to the doctor with the puppy to do the operation and she had come back. And on the other side, she has been through, now we have 3 children. So she has been through water birthing, totally the process of birthing she has witnessed. And 3 times she has done it. And she knows exactly what happens in the birth and she wanted to actually become a midwife also.
One of my dreams.
Yeah. So coming back to writing and reading, when she went to the school, she was good at reading and writing paragraphs. Okay. But what she was not good at was, she was not good at writing fast. She will be very artistic in her writing. Okay. So if you write, she will enjoy writing. If you give her 1 sentence, she will take at least 2 minutes to write 1 sentence. That was the kind of speed she went to the school. But the school was challenging for her. The teacher will sit back and say, Pasha, finish, because she has to erase the board and everybody else will finish and she will be holding the class back. So it was tough for her. Eventually, there was so much homework. She used to go to school, come back, and till 11 o'clock, she will write and she will sleep on the notebook only with her hand on the pen. She got a blood clot on her thumb because of writing continuously. And I used to go and fight with the school every day. I used to go back and I used to write letters to the teacher. He's writing education. Why I'm making my child give so much homework that nobody knows how much homework she is getting because everybody gives little. And, the teacher would say, if she doesn't know to write, she will not be able to get a good score in 10th standard. She was doing 4th standard. Okay. I told the teacher that we have got the permission from the correspondent, from the principal for allowing her to be slow for 1 year at least. But the teachers wouldn't, they would be forcing her or threatening her also to some extent. But I fought so much and finally she finished all her classwork, because one of the main reasons why she wanted to go to school was to play with children. And the golden rule in the school was that unless she finishes all her classworks, she can't go to the PT period to play, because she has to sit back and write in the PT period. So it was pathetic. And she had to wait and finish, because she went 1 month late to the school. So she had to write back all the things and then finish her classwork. Then only she went to play. After she finished writing all the classworks, nothing to write in home. And I was like, oh my God, thank God she's finished it. She will come back and ask me, Dad, can you give me something to write? I really enjoy writing. So I was like, I feel like stupid going and fighting with all the teachers.
So like after this whole experience of 4th standard, did she decide to stop going to school, or did you guys pull her out of school?
Constantly it's been a struggle. When I mean, what she enjoyed going to school was, she really enjoyed leaving home and traveling without both of us. And she enjoyed cycling to the school. She used to not let me follow her. She used to go on her own in the middle of all the traffic and all that. And she really enjoyed that. She enjoyed getting 5 rupees with me and going and buying snack in the canteen. She would be really waiting for it. She enjoyed fooling the other children and ganging up with other children and eating together and playing all these little games in the lunch period. And then she enjoyed eating all sorts of snacks from other people's tiffin box, which we don't allow in our home. So these were invaluable for her, which we could not provide at home. So she really enjoyed all of this, and the cost that she needs to pay for it was writing,
Reading, exams.
She was ready for it. She was ready. I am ready to pay any cost to give me children. That was her mentality at that time. So the reason why she came out of school was the school was very good in preparing children for dance for the annual day. My daughter was so interested in dancing because we ran some dance courses for her, for other children in our home during her homeschooling days. So she really picked up dance. So she was all the more interested in performing to the group. What I figured out slowly was she was dancing for an item song for her annual day. So you want to say?
Yeah. So I mean, that was the school's, I don't know, that was one of the tactics that they used to pull crowd so that they get good admissions in the next year. But then we were like really not happy with, little children dancing for such numbers. So we had to tell her that, this is not happening. Like, we won't go and dance for such a song on the stage. And so finally,
I told her, if it is your principal's daughter, will she allow it? My daughter replied, she's principal's daughter is dancing in front of her in the row.
So we told her, okay, this is not happening, and we had to pull her out of the annual day dance. And instead, we made another trip. We went to visit our friend in Kerala. So after this, we were thinking, like, what constructive is happening with her going to the school? Though she's enjoying all the neighborhood and all the friends and everything, but what is she actually really learning, and what was she losing out? So what I actually thought was, like when she went to join the school, the first day, like they went and saw many schools, and then we were like not able to get admissions because they were asking for entrance exams and all, and she was not able to get it.
And they were willing, but we didn't send her because we didn't like it.
And when she went to this school, all that the teacher asked was like, I'll give you a textbook, then you'll have to, we want to just see where she is in reading and writing. And then the moment she got the book, she did this, and the teacher was like so surprised, and the teacher told, like I've never seen a child do that for getting a book. That was the kind of enthusiasm she had. But then by the end of the year, what I actually realized was she's excellent at writing and she's excellent at finishing homeworks and everything. But then what was she learning was like,
she ranked the second in the class
in that year.
So the start was she couldn't write and complete, but when the end of the class, she had, she was in the top 2 in the classroom. But for us, it was like a dull year because she didn't learn anything new. She was reading and writing.
And her interest was going down. Like, when I try to tell her, like, if there's a maths problem and I try to, like, make her understand what it is. She's like, no,